Welcome back to Split Second, our mid-season spectacular.
Mid-season spectacular?
Mid-season spectacular. Say it with me now.
Nope. I gave it my shot, and that's it.
The journey to being crowned season champion gathers pace. It's action all the way as the gates to the power plant are thrown open for the first time. Meanwhile, drivers are finally able to fight back against the chopper in all-new Air Revenge. With an exclusive car at stake for today's winning contestant. Hold on to your seats, because things are about to get even hotter.
I've started to look at cars differently since we've started doing this.
I'm glad. I'm glad that this has had an effect on your personal life outside of this.
I finally looked up what an Aston Martin is.
And how'd that go for you?
I thought they'd look nicer, to be honest with you.
Well, this one's been kitted out so it looks more mean and more...
Yeah, like that? More
Yeah, like that. More grr.
You want to talk about how this is your favorite car ever, right?
No, it's awful. I hate everything about it.
And also, I was looking at Aston Martins, and these are expensive cars.
Yes, Aston Martins are ridiculously expensive, which is kind of funny because they were built by Ford for a while.
You know what's interesting? I think the back makes it look like a Jag.
It does, actually. The back is very Jaguar XJ8 in particular.
Yep, I agree with that thing you're saying.
You agree with this assessment?
Yep. Yeah, the XJ8, the silver one.
Yep. So anyway, we're at the power plant now. This is a new track, so that's kind of exciting. The power plant is really not like anything else we've seen before. Everything, as you'll see, is really kind of compact, which makes it fun because you're never really lacking for stuff to do. You're always, you're always going all over the place and dodging explosions and shit's blowing up, and it's just fun. Talking of which...
It's like the sushi roll of racetracks. Lots of flavor packed into a very small container.
Yeah, except it's not really that filling.
I don't think sushi rolls are that filling, actually.
They are to me.
Oh, I thought you were saying except it wasn't as filling as a... No, that is what you were saying. Thank you. I'm really glad I found it out. Thank God for destructible cooling towers, huh?
Yeah, destructible cooling towers are pretty great.
He almost got you.
Yeah, he almost did get me. So let's go ahead and take that sweet jump. We're actually coming up to the end of this first lap. So power plant's a really flat track, which can kind of change things around. The GT500 is actually really good on flat tracks because you're not trying to fight gravity while you drift it.
Yeah, that gravity, man.
Yeah, gravity is something else, huh?
Yeah. You know gravity is directly related to math. Yeah.
Gravity giveth and it taketh away.
Oh, it's only 9 newtons.
Do you even know what a newton is?
No. I went to the LA Unified School District. It's amazing that I can do math.
It is sometimes. You really impress me. Have I ever told you that?
Yeah, you did once. Gave me a treat, fed me out of your hand. It was great.
Turtle, we don't talk about these things on camera.
Oh. So how about that wonton property destruction?
There is a lot of it. Like, oh my god. We have probably destroyed more on this particular track than like any other track that we've seen so far in this game. But the race is kind of starting to settle out. We probably won't see a whole lot more destruction on the third lap, but we're going to get the big one in, so...
In preparation for this LP, I looked up how much it cost to build a cooling tower.
And how much does it cost to build a cooling tower?
I don't know. I got really lazy after I Googled it. But they use like $250,000 a year to run them.
Really?
Yeah, because it's 100 gallons per minute to feed them with like water and shit. And then they also require a softener and desilicizer.
You mean a desalinizer?
No. DESILICIZER.
Huh, okay, what's that?
No idea. I couldn't pronounce it, so I didn't want to look it up.
So I'm in kind of a bad spot, actually. Coming up to the end, but...
4! Oh my god! Oh my god! Alright.
I love the Wrecking Ball. The Wrecking Ball is so good.
That is amazing. It just has a really good comedic timing.
Yeah, speaking of which, Bartlett got destroyed again trying to take my shortcut, so that was funny too.
Poor Bartlett.
Bartlett doesn't get the love.
Do you know who you didn't wreck out this game?
Who?
Raptor.
Oh, we'll get to that. Oh, yes, we will get to that.
My boy's safe. He's not even in this race, is he?
He's not even your boy.
Wait, who's my boy?
The Hammer.
I have multiple boys. I have a whole fleet of racing boys that I like to support. Also, no, Raptor wasn't in here, but also I'm adding Richie to one of the guys I'm going to root for.
Do you just... You're just looking for things to go between. You're just constantly on the rebound.
Oh, that would explain college.
It would explain college. Talking of rebounds, the Chopper's still not very happy with us.
I don't know what you did to that Chopper, man.
Chopper started it. Chopper shot missiles at me. I was just minding my own business. And now it's back and it wants me.
Okay, this is different.
Yes, this is very different. So this is Air Revenge. Air Revenge is pretty great. It plays a lot like Air Strike, which is the normal version of this mode. But you actually can gain power as you dodge the waves. And when you gain enough power, you can deflect the missiles and hit the Chopper.
Oh my god. Do you have to fly into the circles to deflect the missiles, or do they just, like, you press a button and they're deflected?
You get a prompt once you can get one equivalent of a level 1 power play.
Right.
And it will show a little thing, but for whatever reason it doesn't. It upgrades up to level 2, like a level 2 power play in standard race modes. It just doesn't show it, but yeah. Once you decide you're ready and you have at least one bar, then you can go ahead and deflect. Like that.
Oh my gosh.
He's not having a very good time of it.
No.
One thing that's also kind of interesting about Airstrike is that the number of missiles that you have to dodge tends to increase faster over time than it does in regular Airstrike. And I think the reason for that is to make sure that you can build your bar faster, because how many extra bits of power you get is dependent on how many missiles you dodge without wrecking.
Hey, you got a sticker.
So we also get a new badge for it, which is pretty cool. And also this thing.
That thing looks cool. Oh wait, that's the monster truck.
That is the monster truck.
Please tell me you drive that.
I do drive it.
Yay.
Next episode.
Oh.
In fact, I'll be making really good use of the Ryback Thunder because it's actually a truck I really like. It drifts super well for being a truck. Also, I mean, it has a 9 out of 10 in strength.
Yeah. I mean, it's our big beefy boy car.
It is the car that we graduate to.
It's the car in charge of our days.
It is the car in charge. Let's go on to construction site. We haven't actually been to construction site in a little bit. Let's explore this area a little bit more.
I would love for them to have a free drive mode where you could just like explore.
I think that would be really cool. Actually, Project Gotham Racing had a sort of similar setup. There were 4 sort of environments that you could have tracks on, and after you beat all of them, then you could just drive around the cities. It was really neat. But no such thing actually exists in Split Second.
Oh, that was cool. Wait, there was a Batman racing game?
No, it was just called Project Gotham Racing. It was done by Bizarre Creations, who incidentally are the same people who did Blur, which is a game I mentioned sort of toward the beginning of the LP. For those of you who have actually been reading the thread.
Dude, the monster truck is so cool. It's taking all these blasts and barely moving.
Well, that's kind of what you get when you get a 9 out of 10 strength. But it's not nearly as fast in a straight line as the Cobretti. Actually, if you can get it going for a long enough straight line, the Thunder is actually faster than the Cobretti.
Well, maybe if you get a really steep hill.
Yeah, I mean, if it had a running start, that would help.
That'd be an interesting idea for a racing game where certain cars get to start like earlier, but they're further back, so they get like a running start or whatever.
Actually, that's something that you can sort of play with in this game. I'll outline it a little bit more once we get there. But let's do this thing again, because the dump truck is amazing.
Oh my god. Oh.
We actually did a little bit better with it that time.
Yeah, you did.
Also, that guy was like doing a handstand. I don't know what the deal is with him.
I was sure that was gonna fall on you.
Yeah, I was too, actually. I was also sure those were going to hit me.
Jeez, are you sure this is a bad car?
It's absolutely a bad car. Well, it's I don't like it, but there are also a lot of reasons that some other people might like it, I think. One of the things that the Cobretti does really well is that it has a very shallow drift. And if you can keep it in that drift angle where you're sort of like this, you know, with less monster trucks bashing you, then you can usually get away with it and just kind of snake it all over the place. And that will actually allow you to gain speed. So it's kind of weird. It just doesn't have a responsive drift in the way that other 10 out of 10 cars that we've worked with so far, like the Hanzo GT, have. You can't really stomp the gas the same way. You have to take a more measured approach to it.
Yeah, I always enjoy a good snaking.
I bet you do, I bet you do.
My girlfriend always makes me do the snaking in our house when there's like clogs in the sink or whatever.
Yeah, you can blow up that helicopter, what of it?
God. Does anything in this game not explode?
No.
Because, like, even the, like, train, you can derail on one of the missions. I'm, like, trying to think of something.
You can derail the train. I actually only discovered that you could blow up the helicopter after you crashed it, like, again, when I was doing the recording for this. I legitimately had no idea until then that you could do it.
Wow.
I just saw the button prompt, and I was like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'm doing that.
Yep. Fuck you, helicopter. Oh, that almost did you some damage.
Yeah, that almost did me in, really. Fortunately, I had a nice beefy monster truck to take the brunt of it. Remember how I was saying before in the last episode that the GT500's not very stable? Just taking a bad landing trying to jump down on that little kink in the road completely threw me off.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, it was really not one of my finest moments. That's why the Cobretti GT500 really tends to do better on these flat tracks where its lack of stability is less of a concern.
Oh, okay. Seems like most of the times to give you a car that's relevant to the next set of races.
Not really relevant. They just tend to continue upgrading you along the path of really general speed. The GT500 is actually kind of weird because the Hanzo GT, which is one of the cars we unlocked last episode, has a top speed of 5 out of 10. The GT500 only has a 3 out of 10.
Does GT mean something?
Grand Tourer.
That doesn't help me.
So a Grand Tourer is a type of vehicle where it's designed to be sort of the ideal combination of luxury and sports pleasure.
Isn't the ideal vehicle one that doesn't break down and gets you to where you need to go?
Well, yes, but when you start talking about high-end car manufacturers, oftentimes that's not really something that you find. In fact, it's very common for first-time Ferrari owners and whatnot to destroy their clutches after 10,000 miles and so on.
Are you ever going to get to aggress the articulator, or are you always just going to be aggressed?
I will always just be aggressed, unfortunately. I'm trying to be really, really careful with the GT500 here.
Yeah.
Like I said, it will break loose at the slightest provocation when I don't want it to. So I really, really have to take my time trying to weave around all these barrels.
Yeah, plus it's... Oh! Oh my gosh, it's like it's made out of tissue paper too, it seems like.
Oh yeah, totally. Actually, fun thing about the physics for the danger cars, the Bumble Bros that we talked about last time we did this, they actually have permanent wreck out physics on. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically, when you wreck out, then you kind of get a shell of a vehicle, and that has less collision weight to it than a normal vehicle, so you're not slowed down if you bump it.
Ah.
The danger cars actually have that on all the time.
Probably to stop them from, like, really screwing you.
Probably. You may also notice that looks like I didn't get any credits for this. I actually did this before. One thing that you'll see as we go forward is that the number of vehicles that you have to wreck out can sometimes be a little bit prohibitive for how many races you have, and this was one of those cases. So I actually went back and did it, unlocked it, and then went and did this 5th detonator event, which is actually going to be introducing us to a new car, the Ryback Cyclone RS.
Does RS stand for something?
Rally Sport?
Did you just make that up, or is that what it stands for? Because, like, I don't actually know.
Rally Sport was what the RS and the Camaro stood for. Anyway, this is the Ryback Cyclone RS. It's a really fast-looking car, but we don't get to admire it too much because they throw the tower at us immediately.
Oh, I thought all the Rybacks were the heavy trucks.
No, Ryback does make all the heavy trucks, but Ryback makes all kinds of cars. They just tend to make big, beefy American muscle cars.
Ooh.
And also things that look sort of like jet fighters. Sometimes, I guess.
I thought American cars were trash. Is that a bad opinion to have?
The Ryback Cyclone RS is kind of weird. It has a lot of power, and it's pretty fast, actually, but it doesn't like drifting. The fastest you will go in this car is when you can avoid it drifting and just sort of stomp down the gas and let the downforce handle it for you, which is really bad because it breaks loose like more often than the Cabretti Vortex or any of the other slippy slidey cars do. So you can see me fighting it as we go through this. It also just makes a great noise.
Yeah, I was appreciating the sound design. Sometimes I just have to know when to stop talking.
Yeah, well, we're still working on that with you.
I realized when I cut you off the 3rd time.
Anyway, the Ryback Cyclone RS it's almost an in-game car, really. So it's kind of funny that they throw it at us this early into the mid-season spectacular, because we've still got the back half of it to go. But I kind of creamed that detonator event, and just to add insult to injury, I beat the dev time.
Nice.
You can actually get these badges with any vehicle, including the in-game ones that have 10 out of 10 speed and acceleration. The Ryback Cyclone doesn't have nearly that, but it was okay. The Ryback Cyclone is actually pretty good for power plant if you can prevent it from drifting. It grips like a baller. One other thing I actually wanted to mention about that detonator event, because it's kind of funny, is that over the forums, you'll see people complaining about how hard the dev times are, and what some people recommend is that you actually back up, like throw the brakes on before you cross the start line, and that way the start timer won't start until you pass the line when you've already got a running start. But you can't do it in the power plant event, because if you do it too early, then the tower will just fall right on top of you.
That's good. Oh wow, that car.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Torpedo had a pretty bad day. One thing that's also kind of nice about the GT500 is that for a car that looks like an Aston Martin ate a Jaguar, it has a 5 out of 10 in strength, so I can totally bully the crap out of Torpedo and Livewire.
Oh, but this isn't a Ryback. This is a Hanzo. This is the Cobretti.
This is a Cobretti.
Oh, is this time for boat dropping? Are we gonna drop the boat?
I'm not intending to drop the boat at this point.
Oh. You didn't do that, someone else did.
Yeah, like I said, the elites are really, really proactive with power-ups, so when you do an elite race, you'll pretty much get everything on the track blowing up. One thing that I didn't mention about Dry Docks the last time we were here is that it's got this little side area, you know, if you want to avoid having some crates blow up at you. It's not as fast, but the GT500 does it decently because you can just sneak the car through it. Yeah, that was really close.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's it. He's a dead man.
I completely forgot about that. I clenched a little.
Like, oh, did I forget to cut this out? Oh, shit. There. Oh, wow, they are right behind you, too. Are they rubber banding, or are they just that good at driving?
It's a little of column A and a little of column B. In this case, we've been pretty proactive with power-ups ourselves, so it's not Vixen and Raptor that are coming at us first, but they always find their way back up. But yeah, I do drop the boat on them.
Oh, the musical sting hit when you did that.
Yeah.
That's really good sound design.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. It's something that I brought up in the thread, but I want to reiterate for the people who haven't been paying attention to the thread, or who just don't care to read the thread, which, if that's you, then I totally understand. I'm not interesting at all.
Yeah, thank you.
After you pass through lap 1 and lap 2, it will basically, like, wait for something cool to happen, like the boat dropping on somebody, and then it will kick up the music and intensity. And it does that again on lap 3 like this. So by lap 3, you have the guitars and stuff coming in, and it really helps kind of keep things, you know, fresh.
And intense, too.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
I could totally tell that it was like, it was time to be a cool race car driver guy.
I mean, that's me all the time. But the music does a great job of making you feel like a total badass.
Oh no, there's a helicopter floating over you.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they're right on you.
Yeah, no, you really don't get a lot of breathing room. Not at this point. Look how many people just passed me there.
Jeez, dude.
So yeah, Vixen and Raptor get in front of me. I crushed them with the boat. Again.
Yeah, you did. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. That's fucking... That's just
yeah,
sick.
it's amazing.
I want to get this soundtrack. I want to listen to this when I'm playing Elf games or whatever.
Well, Mode Wondershot actually mentioned in the thread that a lot of the soundtrack is available for free on SoundCloud. In fact, I found a full copy of the game's soundtrack, like unedited, on YouTube, and if anybody's interested in listening to that, I can totally post the link to it in the thread. So yeah, we just beat the mid-season spectacular. That was a thing.
It was really awesome.
It was. And we get this neat sticker.
I like stickers. I want to buy all the stickers and put them on my car, my Prius.
We also unlocked the Ryback Coyote, which is pretty great. And this thing, you know, so we can be assholes like Vixen and Raptor.
Yeah, I thought it was pronounced coyote.
It is, depending on where you live. So yeah, that was Dry Talks, and that was our mid-season spectacular. What'd you think?
It definitely lived up to the name.
It did.
Oh, do you get to choose?
You do. Just like episode 2, you get to choose.
Next time, no one said being a competitor in Split Second was glamorous work.
I have a great story about the LA River. I have so much to say about the LA River, so.
Oh, here we go. Oh. Well, shit.